Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the Redington virtual webinar sessions. Today's topic we have for Ivanti. I have Ashraf from our pre-sales who will be presenting the topic to you. Ashraf, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Bindya. Hello, guys. Good morning. My name is Ashraf Mujar. I am a pre-sales engineer from Redington, Gulf. So today's topic is about we are going to talk about maintaining a IT hygiene using patching. So specifically, we are going to talk about a product called Ivanti. So if you have any questions, of course, we're going to take a questions after the session is completed. So I think you can type the questions and then I can take a questions one by one. So let's start. We're going to talk about a couple of current challenges which we are facing for today's looking at this COVID-19 situation. So of course, first of all, guys, I hope you all are safe. Please stay at home. Of course, we can work from home since we are in IT. So there is a possibility that we can work from home. So stay at home. Try to gain as much as knowledge. These events are also, we have arranged so that you can get more and more knowledge about the products. It's all about an upscaling today. So so of course, this is the main agenda of having the virtual events, and of course, you get to learn the products. So when you basically go and talk to customer, of course, you must be in contact with customer. You must be calling them, so you can explain them a new products, which cannot talk about it. So let's talk about the current challenges. So as you know that everybody's working from home, and maintaining a security is getting a bigger challenge. All the employees computers, their laptops is actually at home, and since they are at home, they are accessing all the critical resources. We have to make sure that we should be giving them a flawless access, and the secure access at the same time. So this is the reason there are a lot of different solutions which we are using right now. The VPNs, like remote accesses with the zero trust capabilities, all these things basically which we are using right now. And maintaining security is always getting a big challenge. But today we're going to talk about a very important topic, called how you can maintain the IT hygienes. So this is something which is very important. Whenever I go to our customers, if it is something which a customer which is looking to, improve the overall security posture of for his organization, we propose him a lot of different solutions. But one of the first and the most common solution what we propose him, so fix up with their patches. The patches is which is something which all the organizations should be follow this practice. Because if you do not patch the machines, you are already a vulnerable. Attackers always, as a part of the attack kill chain, they always look for the vulnerabilities, and after finding the vulnerabilities, they always make use of those vulnerabilities to make exfiltrate the data, or do any kind of any kind of bad intention which they have it in order to get into a network and basically do the stealing of a data and removing the evidences. So of course, the patching is the most important part. You need to have the solution who can help you to do the patch, because if you go to the customers and ask today how you guys are doing a patching, since you're all the employees at home, how you are making sure that your laptops, your machines of the machine which you've been used by the your employees at home, how are you making sure that they are completely patched 100%? This is something, the challenges which you must be facing today to answer to, even for your management. So this is the challenges which we are going to overcome today. So the patching has become the most important organizations. Even if you see the 86% of the reported vulnerability coming from the third-party applications. Why we are specifically mentioned the third-party applications here? Because if you go and ask customer today how your patching status looks like, some customer will come back and say, okay, we do patching manually. So there is a dedicated team who's doing the patching, and or they maybe come back with say that we are using Microsoft native tools like SCCM in order to do the patching. But what is how efficient these solutions are? Let's understand it. If you talk about doing a manual patching, it is always a time consuming. You need a hefty resources. You need to dedicate a team, so that they will be only doing a patching an entire day, and basically you're spending a money to a to an employee who's not being so much productive because he's so much busy doing only a patching part of it, right? The second part would be SCCM. Yes, it is a good solution from Microsoft. A lot of customers are using it. But what are the disadvantages of it? It's something which is not easy to manage, first of all. Second thing is it can only patch a certain areas of your infrastructure. For example, Microsoft SCCM can only patch the Microsoft infrastructure. This is something which we can do, and the process is also very lengthy, and you need to have a dedicated trained resources in order to do this patching. So that's basically the question that comes now: is the patching a solved problem? So if you can read it, although the patching has been a solved problem for many years, even decades, a lot of organizations struggle with it today. This is what we're going to talk. We are talking about it. They're using a WSUS in order to do the patching, but of course we are missing out one part from the patching, which is the third-party applications. So since the SCCM or by the using a WSUS, the SCCM uses a WSUS in order to do the patching to the Windows. We cannot perform the third-party patching, for the applications. There are a lot of applications who are installed on the employee's computer, who he is using it, but which has not been patched. And you do not have a visibility what kind of applications he's using, and how. Then if you do not have visibility, how can you patch? This is a big question which we are talking about it, right? So of course we need to have a solution, the unique solution, a central solution through which we should be able to patch the entire organization. We do not need to dedicate a team. We need to have a central solution through which we should be able to patch the entire infrastructure of us. And that is not only for the Windows, it should be also the solution for the third-party applications. You can see the Java, the Java is the most vulnerable applications, and this is where the most attacker makes a use of it. And of course, we need to have the dedicated solutions who can help us to fix this kind of applications from the patching perspective. That is the reason we are introducing a product to you guys. Most of the people already heard about a product called Ivanti Security Control, also known as the ISEC. Okay, so just a quick history of the product. It's the root of the product, or the earlier known of the product is called Shavlik. Okay, so Shavlik is the product who's the pioneer of the patching. They are the one who comes up with the concept of having the dedicated solution for performing a patching. So this is something which this is the first solution who comes into the market as an concept of patching. In fact, the ex-Microsoft people who they started with this concept, and they have come up with this solution. So that is a very popular solution which has been used by a lot of customers all over the world. And after the acquisition, so Ivanti acquired a couple of products, and they have now it's a big umbrella of products they are having, and one of the product they have is called Shavlik as well. And since this was the best in the patching, they have keep the same solution, but they renamed the solution and they gave it as a security control, Ivanti Security Control. So it's called ISEC. What is Ivanti ISEC now? So let's talk about what are the features, or what exactly we do from the Ivanti ISEC perspective. So we provide the on-premise patch management. Okay, and what exactly we do inside it? We support the Microsoft and third-party patch management. So the Microsoft, all the flavors we do support from the patching perspective. So if your employees at home who's using certain Windows operating systems, you can actually patch the machines. Which is even they are at home, and they'll still be able to patch the machines. They are always been secure because the patch will never be missed from their computers. We also support a lot of third-party applications. So if you go to the Ivanti website and you can search for Ivanti supported or Shavlik supported third-party application, you should see the whole bunch of lists supported by the Ivanti as a third party. So this it's a big list. I think one of the biggest lists which you can find out from the patch management. From the technology perspective, we support two types of technologies. We do the patching, which is agent based, and the patching, which is agentless. Okay, so agentless, you can consider the agentless patching. This is specifically for the servers who never moved out of a network. For example, your servers like email server, your Active Directory server, your file servers, who's basically a Windows specific servers. Those are always stable. They don't go out of a network. So this kind of servers, you can patch those specific servers agentlessly. So you don't have to install any agents on them. What about the agents? This is specifically for those users who's a roaming users, like today. Today's concept, everybody's working from home. Today, even my laptop. I'm also working from home. I have my own laptop with me, and with the help of an agent, agent have a certain schedule policies based on which it's gonna automatically perform a scanning and basically help my machine to patch it, even I'm working from remotely. Of course, from the solution perspective, we also address the physical virtual servers and the workstations. So it's not only related to the certain platform, certain technology. We can patch the physical virtual machines as well as the workstations. And the good part about is we also support the VMware virtual environment. So virtualization support is already there. Okay. So one thing, guys. So I think our team and we are actually doing one small question and answer session after this after the presentation over. So there are a couple of questions which you will be flashing in front of your screen. So just concentrate, because these questions are going to come from this specific presentation only. So if you miss something, then you will not be able to answer those questions. So yeah, so let's continue with it. So we do support the virtualizations as well, which was specifically for the VMware. Okay, so what exactly we do from the virtualization perspective, we're going to talk about in the next slide. We also do the asset inventory. So once we perform certain scanning. So scanning, I will talk about what are the processes what we do from the successful deployment for the patches. So we will be once with the help of this solution, we will be able to give you the complete inventory for the hardware, softwares, and the BIOS information for each and every computer. From the automation perspective, we do have support, couple of supports, like we also support the IT scripting. So if you're planning to deploy certain scripts to the target machines, we do all IT team required some time to execute certain scripts, to install certain things or to perform certain tasks. That way you can use a single console in order to do the patching for the target, in order to do the patching, and as well as providing any kind of IT scripting. And of course, we do have a full reporting, almost like more than 30% built-in reports, which we can provide you from the patching perspective. From the virtualization perspective, we do support the offline VMs, templates, and the ESXi host. Okay, so what are the things we cover from the VMware perspective? The first and the most important is offline VMs. There are a lot of VMs which we keep offline, who are not running right now, and the problem is we don't know when those machine gets on. And what is our agenda would be, whenever those machine goes on, there shouldn't be any kind of patch which is missing, on that machine. So with the help of integration from the VMware, we are able to achieve the offline VMs patching. We also scan and patch the VM templates. We also do the we also have a capability of taking a snapshot before patching it. So in case you are suspecting that this specific patch may create an issue to a specific target machine, you can always you can always give the command to the VMware server saying that, okay, please take a snapshot before applying this specific patch. So in case of anything goes off, you can always go and roll back or revert back using that specific VM snapshot. We also perform the ESXi host patching as well from the VMware's perspective. So what is the good part about it is VMware, the VMware, which is the very big name, which we all know, The Shavlik, once long time back, been acquired by the VMware, and VMware was selling this as a patching solution. So because of that acquisition happened, they are able to integrate fully with the VMware capabilities, which is why we are getting also this specific functionalities from the VMware perspective. Now understand the content and detection logic. So just to give you one point from the slide is Microsoft release the patches on every Tuesday. So they regularly update a certain contents, like Wednesdays and Fridays, and if a certain kind of 0-day attacks been reported, they are going to give it on the specific day. So yeah, so this is what this basically slides talk about it for the Microsoft. But if you talk about the third parties, every third party also release a patches as well as in when they find out certain vulnerabilities or the specific bugs on that specific existing applications. Let's understand the basic Ivanti patch process. What we perform, what we do from the patching perspective. So our Ivanti product is very simple, I would say. We don't want to add a lot of complications since we are posing against the we are talking about how easy we are, how we can provide a security by maintaining that usability, and the visibility. So the solution which we have built is a very simple and support in multiple platforms. So when you implement a solution, you can literally done the complete the patching process on 4 clicks. So how does that specific process looks like? The first what we are going to do is we are going to do the scanning, right? So we're going to create certain machine groups, so on that specific solution on the Ivanti. So we're gonna create a groups which understands which machine belongs to which specific group. For example, there may be a certain server who belongs to the database. There may be certain server belongs to the accounts. There may be certain servers belongs to the IT team, right? So we can have a different group, and we can map those servers or those computers or those workstations to that specific group, so that when we perform a scanning, we should be able to choose from that specific group which you need to scan. The first process or first click which we're going to do is we click on the scan. So once we perform the scan, depend upon how big the infrastructure you're scanning, we will report it back with the results. So this will be a second click which you have it to go and look the results, what exactly been result find out from that specific scan, which helps you with missing patches, which help you with the product information, which help you with the service packs, which help you with the bulletin ID, but also help you with the certain bulletin titles of what exactly is going to happen. And it also gives you the patch type. So is it a security patch type? What is the severity of it? So that complete information you will get it, right? And that basically helps you with the patching. And the second thing, the third click, what we're going to do is in order to deploy it, so we just right click or we just select all the machines, we right click and deploy it. So that will be the third click. We should have the deployment page, a deployment which is startup. And after the deployment is done, we will see the report like how many machines has been patched and how many machines the patches which has been missing, right? So during the deployment, you have a luxury, or you have an option of choosing which machine you want to scan. So so not which machine you want to patch it. Which patches you want to deploy it. You can choose a whole bunch of computers, and you can deploy all the patches, missing patches from that specific computer. Or you can choose a specific patch and you can deploy to that specific thing. So you have that option of doing it. So with the 4 clicks, our patching process is completed. Now, if I tell you the architecture wise or the product wise, our product get installed on the Windows platform. Okay, so we do support a multiple Windows platforms in order to install our solution. It's a MMC based solution. There is no web portal. There is no IIS required here. It's just a MMC. So you install it like a software, which is just next. We would require to have a database connectivity, of course. So certain database we do support. And if it is a smaller environment, we can always go ahead and make a use of Express editions which can be installed during the installation itself, which even it can ask you whether you want to install the Express Edition. You can always go ahead and install that as well. And the second thing would be, once you install that Express Edition, you can always link it and start using it. So it gets installed on a Windows platform, and then you get the process, you get process to do the perform the scanning. So let's understand the architecture. So as I mentioned, we install our software, so that will be that will be called the Ivanti console or server. Okay, so you can see certain information which has been popping up. Let me put the pointer also. So you can see the Ivanti patch is a software installed on a virtual or physical server. So you can install it on a machine, your own machine or your own laptop as well, or you can dedicate one virtual server where you can install it, so that, and whoever want to access it, they can access it, right? It will be a patching. Second thing, what exactly we're going to do is this will be communicated to the Ivanti Cloud. When I say Ivanti Cloud, it's actually not we have a SaaS solution or something for Ivanti ISEC. And what I mean is it will connect to the internet, okay, where all these vendors who's exist, right, like a Microsoft, all third parties. Okay, so in order to reach to the content team of the Microsoft or the Adobe or Java or Firefox or Chrome, the Google, we need to go to the internet. So this machine will require to have the internet access. So in order to download all the latest patch information. And how do they download it? That's a question. Like, how do they download the latest patches? So what Ivanti team is doing it, Ivanti have a specific content team who basically do perform the certain test. Let's say a Microsoft release the patch on Tuesday, so they will understand determine the logic behind deploying that specific patch. And once they determine the logic, what they're going to do is they will store all the information in the place of the XML file. So you can see there will be one XML file which will have all the information. It will not have the executables. It will only have the information about the patch. For example, when is this patch released? What is the bulletin ID and all the information? Okay, that information will be available in the XML. This XML file will get downloaded for each and every specific time, to find out what are the latest patches are available from all the third parties as well as the Microsoft. Right, so this XML file is always getting updated, which has complete information. So the next process, what we will be doing it, we're gonna have the machine groups, which will be creating the machine groups. And once this machine groups we have created, what we will do is we will perform the scan of the machine of those all the machine groups. And what we're gonna do the scanning perspective, we will scan the current patching posture of that specific machine, okay, specific server, and we will compare that results with our XML file, right? And we can easily find out a difference, like what are the new patches? Is there a new patch has been already been deployed? And once the result comes back, whichever are new patches, it will be reported to the Ivanti console. This all happened agentlessly. Okay, there is no agent needs to deploy it for the agentless architecture. Okay, we do use certain services from Microsoft, like a remote registry or something that needs to be open on the target machines in order to establish the connectivity. Once this is done, what we do is we download once we find out the results, and let's say we want to deploy a certain patch to the specific machine groups or a specific computer. What we can do, we can request those patch. Now you can see the patches are getting downloaded from those respective vendors to the Ivanti central console. Why? Because let's say if you want to deploy it to this, let's say the same patch is missing from 10 computers, we don't want those machines will be going internet to directly and downloading. That will be a lot of bandwidth consumption. They will be doing it. So what we will do, that patches will be get downloaded centrally to the Ivanti console, and Ivanti console will distribute those patches locally, which is always a faster. Okay, locally distributing distributing a patches over a local network, it will always a faster. Right, once those patches is done, we will be downloaded those patches to the target machine. It will be executed, and once this is done, we will have the results back saying that okay, this machines are being patched from the specific missing patches. That's the agent. We can also have the distributed architecture. If you have a multiple sites, you can also keep one distribution server on that specific site. So you will have only one central console who's communicating to that distribution server, and all these patches which was available now to the central console, it will automatically distribute to the distribution server. So the machine who belongs to the site 2, for example, the customer have a multiple sites. So the site 2 machines, instead of they are going and downloading the patches from the primary Ivanti console, they can download those patches from the local distribution server, which is always becomes a faster. And this distribution server, you do not need to install any software or something. It is just like a shared drive, which basically understand that the Ivanti patch is basically running on that specific server. Of course, and then you can also have if you have a requirement that to have a different console to a different properties, you can also have the remote patch console, so they can perform their own patching. They don't need to communicate to the central and do their patching. They are independent of patching of themselves. But when they're done with the patching, all the results will be reported back to my Ivanti console. This is something which we're going to talk about today called agent architecture, because since we are working from home. So what exactly we are talking about here is the machine which is on the other side, where the agent which is not connected to my internal network. So since I am at home today, I'm not connected to my Ivanti patch console server, right? And if I'm not connected, I cannot do any kind of agentless scanning, right? Agentless scanning is not possible because my computer is not reachable to the Ivanti console. In this case, what I can do is I can install the agents on all the machines which is roaming right now, which is not communicating to it. And those agent will have a certain schedule. We will define a certain schedule. Like this time, you automatically perform the scanning. And the XML file, you can see we basically install the agent. We define certain agent policies, okay, which agent policies are deployed to that specific agent, which is on the roaming computers. And whenever they perform a scanning, they will download that XML file directly from the cloud. That XML file information they can directly download from a cloud. They don't need to communicate to the Ivanti console as well. So they have all the latest missing patch information with them. And with that XML file, they will perform a scanning. Once the scanning is done, they will automatically download the patches. Since my computer is connected to internet, I can directly download the patches and deploy as per the schedule which is set up on the agents. So in this way, I am always been connected. And now the question is, how do I report back the results, right? Because since I'm not connected to it, I can always make a use of the Ivanti Cloud, which the service which we give it to all the customers free of cost. So this service, it just helps the agents to identify where is my management console is. So my management console will register to the cloud, and my agents will also communicate to the cloud. Okay. So and whenever the scanning is completed, I can report this results to the cloud, and because my cloud knows where is my agent is, it will send those results back to my Ivanti console, which is on premise. Okay, so this is something how we can work on the agents as well. And if you have a multiple hybrid architecture, this is what we discussed. You can have a multiple servers. You can have a remote Ivanti patch console. You can have a distribution server. You can perform the scanning from a central console and then distribute the patches from the local distribution server. So this way you have a complete visibility of your entire systems, who's on what location and how they are patching. They're completely been patched right now or not. So this is how the communication matrix looks like. We are not using a special the communications. It's all communicated over 443 and 80, and distribution server connects over 445 and 139. So of course your distribution server will have the VPN connectivity. You have to make sure that these communications are over. 3121 port is basically communicates between the remote console and the Ivanti console. So this is the communication which you need to make sure that you have the specific ports are been opened. Let's talk about certain solution features. Okay, so if you talk about the certain solution features, we already discussed about it, but there are certain new features since the Ivanti acquired the solution. We have come up with certain new couple of new features. So we do provide comprehensive patch management. We have already seen the deployment for the OS, the patching deployment for the OS and third parties we do automatically, so that the process is completely automated. Uh, since from the Ivanti ISIC, we were only doing with the Shablik, actually we were only doing the Microsoft patching, but with the help of acquisition from Ivanti, now we can also do the patching for the third-party OS, Red Hat, and also we recently started doing the iOS as well. So there are two operating systems from the Linux perspective. Apart from a Microsoft, we can also do the patching for it. So we also have a Linux patching available right now. Of course, we cannot do the agentless patching for the Linux. We need to do we need to have the agent installed on the Linux machines. But for the Microsoft, we still have the agentless and agent-based patching deployments are available. We do support the virtualizations. We also perform the automated patch process management from discovery to assessment to delivery to delivering the updates. We also perform the asset management that is particular we discussed is. We also support the custom application patches. If you need to do a certain which is, let's say, certain applications not supported and you need to do the customization, we can also support the customizations. And we also have the certain precise reboot options. What do you mean by that? This is a very interesting topic, because every customer might ask you this question, like I have a critical system running. I'm facing one issue that whenever I apply a patches, it requires a reboot. Without a reboot, it cannot complete the patch process. It cannot successfully install the patch. So what the customer challenges, whenever he install the patch, for example, my computer, let's say I'm currently viewing the presentation, and let's say on the back end, some patches gets automatically installed, and there is no control, and basically after this patch, it's basically requires to have the reboots. And the problem, what happened is, let's say I have some files open. Let's say I was working on some files, some projects, preparing certain project plans or something, some business plans or something like that. So in this case, I was working on a document and forget to save it. What will happen? First of all, as soon as my machine gets rebooted, what will happen is I'll lose out my data, because I didn't save it. I'll lose out the connectivity to the WebEx, or the Teams, So and what was the impact? Of course, it's impact because I had lose my data, and this is what something which any customer will not accept it. They need a solution. Of course, they need a solution who will help them to do the automated patching, but they also need to have a solution which helps them to control the reboots. So this is something what we also provide. What we do is we have a certain reboot option which we can set it up. So in the case of in the case of patching process which is done from Ivanti, what we can do, we can present the message in front of a screen. Let's say my patching is completed. I'll get a message on front of my screen saying that, okay, the patching process is completed. Would you like to do the reboot now, or would you like to extend the time? I can always buy a time. So there is a pop-up message will come, and I can always buy a time. I can say, okay, I need to save my data. So let me save my data first. My presentation is going to last for more 15 minutes or half an hour. Okay, so let me do it after half an hour, 1 hour. Before that, I'll finish my presentation. I save all the data, and then you're good for the reboot. So this case, I can precisely define the rebooting options as well. We can also integrate with certain REST APIs, and of course the one which is very good thing what we introduced from the security perspective is now we have started importing the CVE databases as well. So we have merged with the CVE databases, which is a common vulnerability databases. So today when we do the patching, we will also tell you with this patch, if you don't patch this specific patch or missing patch, what kind of impact it will give you an organization. Is it comes as a critical in terms of the CVE, or is it come as a low level of CVE? So that CVE information can also be presented to you, so that you can decide now which is the critical patches which I need to do from the CVE basis. Okay, and one of the good feature we also introduced is called application control. Okay, with the same Ivanti ISX. So earlierly it was only doing the patching from Microsoft. Now we also have a Linux patching which is newly been introduced. Plus we have also introduced the application control. Okay, or you can say a privilege management, which is what we are doing it from the agent base only. So for this specific feature to work, we need to have the agent for sure in order to control the executables, the privilege management, establish a trusted ownerships, setting up a rule sets and the collections, the browser controls, the configuration settings, and the event waiver. Okay, so this is a couple of features we do support from the application controls perspective. So you can understand this is the application control model which has been introduced by the Ivanti, and this is what the features what we do from that. So we can have, if you want to control, after doing even a patching, you want to perform certain control to the target machines. Let's say I'm on a computer, I don't want my users to executing certain kind of executables. I can perform the executable control there. I can control the privileges as well. Like I don't want them to run a specific applications. I can always control those privileges. I don't want they should be going to the specific URLs and the URL redirection. The browser control. I can always define that as well. So these are the certain new features which has been introduced from the Ivanti perspective. Okay, so that's it from my side from Ivanti today. This is something a product which we are proposing to a lot of customers, and there are a lot of customers who we already sold the solution, and a lot of customers are using it. It's a very mature solutions, very easy solution. You can always go to the Ivanti site and download the trial versions for Ivanti and use it for certain of your machines and do it by yourself. There are a lot of videos are available on the YouTube as well, on the Ivanti site as well, where you can just go and look at how to configure it. It's a real easy solution. Literally a 4 clicks and your patching problem will be solved. You can tell this to customers, and of course the customer, as a part of a compliance, as a part of this improving security, this is going to be a best considering solutions. Okay, so as a part of it, I guess we need to take certain questions, I guess. So I'm going to stop presenting and see whether if I have any specific questions. I don't see
any questions, Ashraf.
Okay, no problem.
So we quickly move on to the questionnaire. Yeah, we have 5 questions to each of you. I'll be sharing my screen and you can see my questions. So I would request all of you to go to this website, which is on top, which is called paulev.com/moneyplan085. So once I'll just give maybe 30 seconds for all of you to sign in, and once you are ready, I will start the quiz. So I hope all of you are ready. Here goes the first question. You have 20 seconds to answer each question. Well, looks like we do not have anybody participating in this session. This is your second question. So I'm assuming most of you are not able to join, or nobody is joining this session. Well, thank you so much for all your time and joining the webinar. We hope we have given you enough information about Ivanti. We will be sending you guys a recording of the session as well, along with our contact details, and y'all can write back to us with any queries you have. Thank you so much, and I hope all of you have a great day ahead.